cats and kittens. Oh, ever since Tiger King, I'm not allowed to say that anymore. Hi, cherished ducklings. I'm really glad you're here. Um, so, it's been quite a week. So what we're going to do first is draw some cards. I usually just draw 3 tarot cards to see what the psychic weather is going to be for the next week. And since I do them randomly, I don't look. They're in my little New Yorker bag that I got for free because the New Yorker did a piece on me. That was cool. I'm bragging. But you know what? I think women should brag more often. Because at a party, you'll see men hanging out together, and they're bragging to each other. That's how they bond. They brag about their accomplishments. They brag about whatever. And then women, I'm used to hear, will sort of bond over empathy and sympathy, but they'll bond over. We don't brag as much. We tend to console each other. So this week, I think I would start thinking about bragging. I mean, don't call me next week and say, no, nobody likes me. But let's start modeling bragging for babes. Anyway, it's really hot here. Of course it's hot anywhere I am. There you go, first brag. And I'm going to do the tarot weather. Right before I do that, I've been talking about quickly showing you how to do a dream board. So very quickly, this is one of the most effective techniques I know for drawing things into your life. Get a board, get a big piece of paper, one of those big cardboard things. Like I had to explain what paper was to you. Anyway, and then what I do is I go online. I either use old magazines, but there are not so many of those anymore. So there's this, you can find these things, it's called 200 Best Art Photography Worldwide. It comes out once a year, and you can usually get it secondhand for $1 or $2. And it's got, so pick an area you want to concentrate on. Sorry. If you want to concentrate on love, go find what's called, oh, hi, Barbara, I'll be with you in a minute. Go to what's called a feng shui, FENGSHUI website, and just look up like the map of the house, or the apartment you're living in, and pick the area that has to do with romance or work or, I don't know, llamas, whatever you're into. You're going to do one about romance and you want to attract the perfect person into your life. Go through a book like this and don't overthink it. I'm going to show you some of these pictures. Like, pick anything that makes you feel good. Okay, I have no idea what that was a picture of. So maybe you want a feeling of freedom. You pick a beautiful landscape, or you pick a picture of a couple together. If you want to get married, like pick a picture of a couple like that who are very bonded and very close. But go through and pick out pictures that make you feel a certain way, not the way you think you should feel. You can also pick out, like, if you're doing one about love, find a love poem that speaks to you and paste it on there. Put some flowers and really feel it. So a lot of times when people make dream boards or mood boards, what I find is that they'll pick out pictures that of what they think they should want, but you want to pick out stuff that you have just this like emotional reaction to. Anyway, I did that once, and wow, I wound up attracting exactly the person I wanted and needed at that time. And perfect. One of the people's sexiest men alive, gorgeous and handsome and kind. Great. Good 3 years. Anyway, so that works. And you can do it with work. You can do it with love. and success. And darling, give me one more second, Barbara. Do you mind? Are you still there?
Yes.
Thank you, Angel. Um, I'm just going to pick 3 cards for the tarot weather this week. Okay. Yeah, as I said, whew, good, there's a happy ending. Um, the first thing that comes up right now, and not to get too much into the news, but um, right now people are looking at what's not working. You see those 3 spilled cups? And that's good because you have to look at what's not working in order to, I'm sorry, I'm so bad at this, in order to make it work. But when they turn around, they'll see that there's hope. There's 2 golden cups on this card, and it's the 5, which is the number of change. So we're having a hard time right now in our society with a bunch of issues. Huge surprise, but they're more like birth pains. It's like we're giving birth to a better time, and in order to do that, we have to look at the problems nobody's been speaking about for 300 years because sunlight is a great disinfectant. Right now, this is also a time when people are, you'll see this, guys, it's another, it's a 4 card, which is a healing time, but this is a time of healing this week. And 4 represents the home, and this is somebody who is taking stock of his or her or other resources. They're learning they're kind of learning who their true self is. And by resources, I don't just mean money, although it's a great time to get your finances together. And by the way, if you do that, you will find that there's a lot of money leaking out that you didn't know about. So it's a really fun, like, detective game. But this week, people are going to not be as maybe reaching out as much. So if somebody's not reaching out this week, that's fine. They'll be back next week. Everybody's kind of thinking about things. Moment. Luckily, our last card is the 3, which is a time of communication and celebration. So it looks like we might be possibly reaching the end of this quarantine. People are going to be celebrating and having parties. And also people have learned that they can be with their friends and their loved ones on Zoom or whatever. And we've all learned to reach out a lot more in the past than we're used to. So that's been a great lesson. And it's also a happy ending. This also might mean that the people who, if you were quarantined with your boyfriend, girlfriend, other, llama, whatever, there's a chance you might wind up engaged. Because if you got it through this without breaking up, man, that's saying something. Okay. Thank you for being so patient. Barbara, I hope and pray you're still there. Are you?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm going to ask you.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Thanks for being so patient, Angel.
Okay.
And first, I'm going to ask you your birthday.
It's not a problem. It's
what's your?
November 13th. November 13th, 1983.
I heard so. Forgive me. My new. I just need the date one more time. My new iPhone is arriving tomorrow, and this one has had a hard life. Oh, November 13th. That's a great day.
Yeah, November 13th.
So we're not intense, are we?
Yes.
All right, it feels to me, Scorpio is a very misunderstood sign. People think of it as like revengeful and mean, and actually, Scorpios are enormously loyal. They have a beautiful, elegant reserve, not like Leos, who will tell like the bus driver and somebody else's pet poodle the most intimate details of their personal life. That's great, but Scorpios have an elegant reserve. and they are intense and wonderful people. Did you have a specific question, or would you like me to do a kind of all over?
Well, specifically, I've been seeing this guy for a while. I'm over a year already, and he's playing Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. One minute he'll be great and fantastic and affectionate to me, then the next minute he's closed off and distant, and
okay.
So I'm just trying to get a feel of, I mean, he's already said, I care about you, and then but then in the same sentence he said, but I'm hesitant to say I love you.
Okay, so sum that up in one sentence as a question for me. And that's not a reproach. It's just because I'm either hard of hearing or I'm having a lot of trouble hearing you. So,
Mm-hmm.
say it one
like I said, my biggest question is, where are things headed with the guy I've been seeing? Is this where I'm supposed to be at with him, or is it's just, like I said, he'll play Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde?
Okay, got it. Thank you, my angel. What's his birthday? Or you don't have to tell me, you can just sort of beam it to me.
Chris.
What?
His first name's Chris. His first name is Chris.
Or first name? Chris, okay.
Yeah. And he's a Capricorn.
You know, what I've discovered, it's a little bit of a rough week for Capricorns. It's a bit of a rough week for everybody. It's going to get better, but I'm not going to lie, people are feeling confined. And as I said, people are also withdrawing this week. The card I showed you earlier with the man who's hugging the coins to his heart, and it's a man who's withholding his affections and attention for some reason. It feels like, well, for one thing, he's worried about something he's not telling you about. You'd be surprised how many people have big problems that they don't tell the closest people to them about. In his case, I believe he's going through some sort of financial blip. Not entirely surprising, but I think he wants to sort of look like a hero and look good to you. So I think he's kind of vanished a tiny bit until he can feel more confident and more like he deserves you. He was in a long-term relationship when you guys first started seeing each other. They weren't together, but he still had feelings for her. He's finally let those go.
Yeah, he had just gotten divorced. He had just gotten divorced before I met him, so...
When what? Give me subtitles, producer.
He had just gotten divorced before I met him.
Yeah. Well, he was having a hard time. The reason it was easier for him at the beginning to be more present is because he didn't have that much invested in some way, but then he started to really have feelings for you. And sometimes with certain genders, he just got divorced. Yeah, so he was a little gun shy. I always used to read that word as gun-shy when I was a kid. You just see it in the page. And he had a lot of trust issues when he met you because this woman was not honorable. And if she's watching, dude, straighten up and fly right. Anyway, so he doesn't trust women, but he does trust you because you have a good character. You are, in fact, a good person. And you work on it. And it's really nice. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. So, he will be back. He will... I would just leave him alone for a bit. You can let him text you. The best thing you can do right now is I work with my friend Jennifer Burton, who's a great love coach, and she says if you find something to distract you and put your energy into, and you're not thinking about the person all the time, which is what we all do. Um, I mean, we don't all think about your person, but we all think about, although I'm sure I would if I knew him. Uh, anyway, back to you. Uh, but what we do is sometimes we can almost energetically crowd somebody without even communicating with them if we're kind of energetically investing in them. Um, when we consciously pull our energy back into ourselves, doing something we love, songwriting, gardening, human sacrifice. Okay, maybe not that. But if you keep yourself busy with finding and learning new passions, you'll get absorbed. And nature loves a vacuum, or is it nature abhors a vacuum? Anyway, you'll feel your energetic absence, and that's when he'll start reaching out. He also, because he has such trust issues with this divorce, there's also a custody issue there that's just killing him because he loves his kids. Um, but he'll be back. I think he's actually appreciating you more in the absence. I really do. And if he seems like he's rejecting right now, cut him some slack. I'm not saying put up ever with abusive behavior, but he is drawing into himself right now. And he's a good man. He got into a bad scene when he was younger, but he's a good man. Is that correct? Did you, Barbara? While we're getting Barbara back, I swear this whole week has been like this. But that is something I've found with love relationships, and as someone who uh, I've I've been kind of I've had some good luck in that area. I'll say that, and I'm not classically pretty or anything, but what I found is something my mother told me. Well, she went, "Oh, Barbara, you're back! I'm so glad." So I'm going to finish the sentence, then I'll tell you. I'm going to draw some cards for you. What my mom said. She went back to college when she was 34. When I had just been born. Um, she had 5 kids, but she went back to college, and for 8 years, and she was commuting into the city from the suburbs, waking up at 4, taking care of all of us, making us dinner, breakfast, lunch, amazing, and earning a PhD in history. So, and she was very happily married, luckily. And she said, during that time, I have never had so many men hit on me, proposition me, offer to marry me. And she said, there's never been anybody for me but your late dad. Um, but she said about the secret to essentially getting any kind of partner you want, this works especially with men when women do it, is be busy and take this time to really, you've already found out you're good at a couple of things you didn't know you were good at during this quarantine time, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same kind of thing. Good. I'm glad. Yeah. And there's some skills you really didn't know you had. And I think one of them really surprised you. So let me just see where it's going with this guy, Chris. Give me a second. Archangel Raphael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Michael. Oh, there you go. Okay, the first card is a Capricorn. So this is the card of a man born under an Earth sign. Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus Mostly, yeah, that's right. Sorry, love. I'll put it back over here, shall I? Mostly it is a Capricorn man, I've noticed. And usually under the age of 45, which I'm going to guess because he sounds young. Um, and yes, the next card this is the Wounded Healer card. You can see this card. Uh, it's the Nine of Wands. This guy, poor guy, he's got a bandage on. He's been hit by 8 sticks in the background, but now he's got his own wand. He's got his own power back. He's learned from his bad experiences, but he's making a decision now not to be embittered, but to be empowered. And that's what this card is all about. So you're dealing with a wounded man who is healing. And you've got a really nice frequency. So it's interesting. Oh, what is, sorry. Right now, he's being offered a great thing. This card is normally right side up, and it means he knows there's a hand coming out from a cloud offering him a golden cup. I mean, and he looks a little bored with this, but it's not that he's bored. It's just that he's still a little shaken up. He doesn't know if he wants to take an emotional risk. I might just keep this card here because it matches my scarf. He's already got 3 cups in front of him, and he's like, I don't know. He's a little scared. The card was upside down, so it means that energy's there. That's sort of what's happening. And he's, again, as I said, he's using this time to make a decision. I think that this doesn't look like it's a good card. It actually is in this case. So he might vanish for a bit, but the outcome card for you here is the Strength card. This means a couple of things. This means a woman finding her own strength. It means a woman finding. Did you recover recently from a chronic illness of some kind, or this could be?
Well, I had a shoulder injury back last summer.
I'm very glad you're over it. Yeah. The shoulder, when you have a shoulder injury, often that means that you just feel responsible for everybody and everything. And I love you for that. But sometimes we have to just help who we can in the best way we can, but start taking care of ourselves too. You're a bit of an overgiver, and that's a beautiful thing. This card also means that if somebody is waiting for something they want, and it seems like they're sort of struggling for it, in this case, I believe it's this relationship with this guy, who I like. And that this means that this is going to happen. The woman struggling with the lion, it's hard to tell from this card if she's like fighting with him or if he's become her pet. So what I've almost always seen in relationship things is when this card comes up, somebody's about to have a pet lion. So be a little patient. Venus is in retrograde right now, so it's not a great time to commit for another week or two. But I see some good stuff there. I like him, and just get really busy following your passions, because you're one of those people who's either totally lazy or totally like busy and doing stuff. You don't have a lot of in between going on there. Is that correct?
Pretty much. I mean, I've got 3 kids, so I'm usually, if I'm not busy doing something with them, I'm doing something else.
Yeah. So you know what I mean about I know your kids keep you busy.
Yeah,
next time you
for
call,
sure.
we'll talk about your kids, because you've got some great kids. Don't worry about them. Enlist them in house projects. You got 5 seconds. Help them, have you decorate, stuff like that. Okay. Love my cherished ducklings. Barbara, thank you for calling. We'll get to everybody else next week. Moonstruck 9 p.m. EST. I'm Peri Lyons, and This is from, well, it would be New York, but right now Maryland. Take care, dear.